Apps. It's been a while, bro.
Yes,
Obviously,
indeed.
we've done the big Don Strapsy interview, went well, and now we've got more Sunday League to talk about. Let's start off with Essie Dons, in fact. So we've got to give big congratulations to them guys. They done it. They won the whole thing, won the Plumstead Cup, much to the distaste of certain people, but it is what it is. The game is the game, as you like to say. Beat Bayswater in the final 2-1. Thoughts on that one, my bro?
Listen, I think ultimately what the Duns done is they've done exactly what they said they were going to do. They're going to win the Plumstead Cup. All I can say to that is winners win. End of story. But what I'd like to see now from the Dons is them to go and win the SFL. That's what I'd like to see them go and do. Obviously, I would say, look, and I know this is going to be a topic that we're going to move on to, but I would like to see them go and win the SFL. But is there going to be controversy if they do? And I'm sure we'll
Mm,
touch on that in a bit of a short while. But
mm,
listen, big congratulations to them. Winners winning. That monster mentality. I keep telling people that these guys are mentality monsters. Like you can't just turn up, no matter how good or bad they are in a day. You're not gonna just steamroll the Dons. It doesn't go like that. Like that's
mm.
just not how it goes. So listen, big up the Dons, big up G, big up Straps, all of those guys there. Well done, congratulations, man, and hopefully you guys can carry on the legacy.
Exactly that. Congratulations to everyone else involved. And like they said before, like I think from every single year they've always promised to win trophies since their existence, and they've continued that trade, that monster mentality, as you say. So yeah, fair play to them all, man. And there's going to be some people watching thinking, should they deserve to be there? Of the whole Hatcham instance and all the rest of it now. But end of the day, they're through. They got through to the final. They beat a good Bayswater side 2-1. And yeah, just carried on that legacy, onwards and upwards for Essie Dons, right?
Indeed, indeed.
So yeah, big up to Don Straps and the guys, and let's talk about the SFL League whilst we're here. So, as it currently stands, well, in fact, the season's done, should I say? Under the radar have actually won the SFL League, but something's been pointing out. A tweet's been pointing out that you could win the league, but yet you could not win the league. So, under the radar, have finished the season undefeated, unbeaten, top of the table. Essie Dons came second, but then it goes into this sort of other
Playoff.
format where is it?
Yeah.
Explain it to me, bro, because you probably know it better than me. You've had
All right.
dealings with behind the scenes.
All right. So it is a playoff. So under the radar may have finished top of the division.
Hmm.
Sorry, excuse me. They may have finished top of the division, but how it now goes is under the radar will go straight into a final, and the other
Hmm.
teams will compete to play in a playoff for the league title, basically. Um, this is just a different way to skin a cat. It's just another way to skin a cat. It's not better. It's not worse. It's just different. And if I'm honest, I think it's quite exciting. Obviously, for those who have worked really, really hard to go undefeated and score, I think I saw one of these tweets saying they scored double the amount of goals of the team in second place, which
Hmm.
was Essie Dons. I think their goal difference was plus 13. And I think under the radars was plus 28 or something like that, or something along
Something
those
like
lines. Um, I get it. I get where the sour grapes come from because potentially under the radar could have had a flawless season and then lose to the Dons in a final, or they could lose to the Wall, in a final, and then essentially not be SFL champions. Um,
yeah.
Look, it's just a different way of doing it. All the clubs knew what they were signing up to when they signed up. Um, Ultimately, if you want to be in that playoff final, the best way to do that is by trying to come top of the division. Otherwise, you're going to have to play an extra 2 to 3 games to get to the playoff or to get to the final via a playoff. So, listen, I actually quite like this format. Listen, I'm not going to stand there and bash the league again. Listen, I think they've taken more than enough criticism from me, and everyone will always get the criticism where it's deserved. But in this moment, I will tell the SFL and the guys that are running it, well done. I like this. It's entertaining. More games to the season. It just adds a little bit more spice to it. And you know what? We will like an underdog story as well. I think it gives teams like the Wall that perhaps maybe didn't have the greatest of seasons an opportunity to still take home the top prize. Um, Unfortunately, it does kind of turn into sort of a one game shootout. so to speak. And but I like it. It's entertaining. It's going to make it ferocious. And from all intents and purposes, that's really what we're here for. We're here for entertainment. If we wanted the same things to happen, week in, week out, year in, year out, these teams would have stayed in their respective leagues and not ventured outside of that. So the fact that they've all gone into the SFL, taken the risk, taken the opportunity to go and do this is big for them. So listen, I'm expecting it to be a well-coveted final when it eventually gets there. And I'll be real with you.
Mm.
My prediction is the Dons are going to win it.
Really?
My prediction is the Dons will win it. Brother, winners win. They find a way. They win. That's what they do. And I can't imagine a scenario. There's no better scenario that suits them than this. Look, they've dealt with heartache this year with the National Cup. There are other games that they've lost in and dropped points and whatnot. I think all of that adversity really feeds into their strength. And if they're given half a chance to go and take a championship on a one-game shootout, I'm telling you now, they will win that game. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I don't think it'll be an easy game at all because under the radar have been phenomenal all year.
Yeah.
But I think in a one-game shootout where it's, guys letting their nuts hang on the football pitch, I can't see anyone but the Dons. Even if it's a 1-0 or a penalty, it doesn't matter. Where there's a will, there's a way. These guys are mentality monsters. So my prediction is Dons will go to the final via the playoff, and I think they're going to win the SFL.
No, fair enough, man. And that's a bold prediction. I appreciate you for putting it out there. Let's see if it's the same energy towards the end of the season, man. But just getting back to that, like if you're under the radar, do you feel slightly aggrieved by that? You've put in a shift all season long. You've stayed undefeated. You've finished top of the table, and then potentially you could still lose out at the league. Obviously, I know what you said in terms of this is what they signed up for, but at the same time, like, do you feel slightly just like a bit peed off by that?
Nah, because that's what I signed up for. If you didn't want to be in that situation where you storm the league and whatnot, then don't try so hard. Don't be the team that tops the division. But the whole point in topping the division is that you guarantee the spot in the playoff final. Yeah. So they've done what they were supposed to do. They went out week in, week out. They performed. They grafted. They worked their ass off. They found their way into the playoff final. Good. They deserve it. But now it's a 50-50 shootout. I think they drew one game all season. I think they drew one game all season. So the fact that they've got to that playoff final, they deserve to be there. There shouldn't be any sour grapes about the fact that another team could go and win it because that's what they signed up for. So, listen, big up under the radar because I feel like as if I'm being a little bit disrespectful by giving so much to the Dons, but it's just the scenario. It's the way that the league is formatted. That's why I just feel like it's going to benefit them because you've got this squad of monsters that just don't know when they are beaten. So, and that doesn't mean to say they can't lose football matches here and there, but in the big moments, man, there's not many teams I'll put my money on. But the Dons, they're just different, man. They are just different. And I'm sure in terms of quality this year, under the radar have definitely been better. And I think that shows in the league table. But in a one-game shootout, listen, I'll put my house, my car, and my kids on Dons to win it. Not that I'm going to do that in this time, but I'm just saying, in a one-game shootout, if there's any team or any club I was going to bet all of that on, it would be the Essie Dons. So, boy, is what it is, man.
So I don't want to see you homeless, boy. So, yeah, you might be...
I wouldn't mind being childless, though, let me tell you. Boy.
Fair enough. Well, again, shout out to the other teams that are in there, Hatcham and the Wall, that make up the rest of the top four. So, again, one of them could win it as well. Obviously, we're more focusing on under the radar.
Of course. Yeah, not to be disrespectful.
No, not to be disrespectful, but those are the other teams that are in there that could win it this season. But whilst we're on under the radar, we've got to give them congratulations because they actually won their first SFL Cup as well against Hacks United. So big up them. They've got their silverware in their ever-growing cabinet of trophies. So again, big up for that. So yeah. No.
But do you know what the thing is? That's going to be fuel in the tank for them as well. The fact that they've walked away with the first ever SFL Cup, their name's now down in history. That's now down in the record books. That can never be changed. Maybe the players might say, we want to be the first team to also go and win the SFL League, but also do the SFL double.
Yeah.
All in the first year. It doesn't get
Facts.
any more unique than that. So I might have to revise my prediction.
See what I'm saying? I told you about that house.
No, I'm playing. Listen, I'm a man of my word. I never go back on the things that I say. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I stand by everything that I say. I still feel like, even despite all of the legacy moments that could be there for them, bruv, I just feel like as if there's a group of men that with a bigger purpose. They've got a much bigger why, a much bigger reason. And I just feel like that ultimately will overcome anything that Under the Radar have in that playoff final, providing the Dons can get to the playoff final. So, yeah.
Yeah. And whilst we're still sticking with the SFL, so we've got some newbies coming to the SFL. Someone that you know very, very well. Your boys over in North London, Highgate Albion, who have been
Big up
announced.
Highgate Albion.
Big up Highgate Albion. He says that with gritted teeth. No, I'm playing.
Don't paint a false narrative. There's no narrative here. Don't do that. Don't do that. Listen, I'm telling you now,
Yeah,
Highgate Albion are one of the best teams in this country.
of course.
Essie Dons are one of the best teams in this country. Under the Radar are one of the best teams in this country. We're talking about elite amateur football teams. Elite amateur football teams. It sounds like a bit of an oxymoron using the words elite and amateur in the same sort of sentence. But I would say they are as top as it gets. They are 3 of the top 5.
Yeah.
And for me, this SFL league just got very, very interesting.
This is what we called for, bro. Like when we sat down together at goals and we was like, yo, we needed more representation from other parts of London. Highgate Albion being one of them. I wouldn't be surprised if more teams from the Barnet Sunday League join in as well, like Oakwood and teams like that. But
Trabs,
Highgate Albion for sure, like Trabs as well, but definitely Highgate because they've just won the London Cup, which we was going to get onto in a second. But they won the London Cup. They've won the Middlesex FA Sunday Cup. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway,
that's right.
another trophy as well. So again, they win like every single season. They always collect trophies. So for them to now join this league, that makes this league a monster. Like North London representation tick, but also like a powerhouse team tick as well. Like they win. Like we say, winners win, but they win on multiple occasions every single season. So that SFL is going to be
undeniable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's undeniable. I think what Highgate Albion have managed to do is they've managed to create a legacy for themselves of not just being winners, but being ferocious competitors in all aspects of the game in multiple competitions. I would say the SFL would be missing a trick if they now didn't go on to make an SFL All-Stars and go to play other league All-Stars teams. I tell you now, the SFL All-Stars would blitz absolutely any All-Star team that you try to put together. If you put together an SFL All-Stars League football team, which would have to be led by me, I'm putting it out there now.
Listen, we've given the SFL more promo than the SFL themselves. Like, Jamal, if you're watching, you owe us a check, right, Jamal? You owe us a check.
A big check. Listen,
more promo.
Coincidentally, I did get a very interesting phone call yesterday.
Okay. Well, the money coming, yeah? The bag's coming, yeah?
Listen, I got a very interesting phone call yesterday. We were on the phone for about half an hour until my terrorist decided to ruin my phone call. But that was a very interesting telephone call, I tell you. Listen,
well, despite what people think about our views, yeah, we actually do support Sunday League and we do support the SFL. So
massively.
People need to realize that we're only promoting it further by having these chats and having these conversations. So when people think
open discussion,
just bashing it, no, we're giving it a light because I'll be honest with you, I'm not seeing it anywhere else. Yeah, I'm seeing it through the Dons, of course, but there's no one actually giving it their time and efforts. And even Shapsy said it himself, like we're both fathers, both got day jobs and stuff. We're giving up our time, efforts to promote this as well off our own backs. So if anyone out there thinking just mind, we're not, just had to throw that one out there.
Now, listen, look, first and foremost, look, for all the guys that are watching, before anything, we're just two friends that come together and have conversations about Sunday League football. We are big fans and advocates for the SFL and for Sunday football in general. I think this is the people's game. It's not like the
Mm.
pro game that's kind of turned into a space that's only really for people that can afford to be there and kind of watch it, whether it's on Sky that's costing you £100 a month or whatever it is. But this is football for the people, played by the people. So we're pushing this massively because we believe in it. Look, we have to objectively scrutinize any and everything because that's what people want to see, and that's what ultimately what we are. We're fair individuals. So no, we don't just bash the SFL or the BDSFL or whatever it is. We will talk openly and honestly about anything that's necessary. So the fact that the SFL are now getting the praises that they deserve is no surprise to us. Highgate Albion going to the SFL is so massive. I cannot begin to explain to you how massive that is. Can you imagine that division next season? And even now, potentially, I don't know if I should say what I'm going to say.
Just say it. Go on, bro. Go on. Say it in your chest.
Listen, Baiteze, Highgate Albion, if they join
You
the
got to
SFL
join,
next
man. There's got to be a couple more like following suit because I'm sure Highgate are not the only ones that are going to jump in like after seeing it. Like
there are
no, just
loads. Listen, I'm telling you now, there are loads. I've heard it from the donkey's mouth himself. So, hey,
yeah.
Jamasi, I said donkey and not horse, huh? Yeah, that's right. So, I heard it from the donkey's mouth himself yesterday. And listen, I'm telling you now, there are a lot of clubs that want to go across and be involved in this movement. Listen, the media team for this league needs to be nailed down. That needs to be done correctly. We're talking about a league that would potentially, in terms of viewership and entertainment, football for the people, played by the people, the very best teams all in the same league. Listen, let me tell you something. The only thing that's missing now is an SFL North Division where we can have all those Liverpool teams, the Manchester teams, because those are proper teams. We want the other ones that are part of that top 5 and top 10. All of them are from up north. All of them.
Yeah.
And the Midlands. So for me, I would say the only other thing that's left to do for the SFL is create a North Division and just let the good times roll. And then you'd have a North v South playoff as well. Bruv, we're talking about something that would rival Champions League viewership. I'm telling you now, this would be like a Tuesday, Thursday night. Everyone's at home watching the live stream on YouTube. There will be 10, 15,000 people at home watching these streams. I'm telling you that now for sure.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely for sure.
let's crawl before we can walk, eh? You know what I'm saying? Let's get
Oh, there's
let's
that.
get
Listen,
yeah.
listen. I was just letting my passion get the better of me. Let me
I
just let me take
know,
a deep breath.
bro, and I love it. I love it. But yeah, let's again Highgate Albion in there. Multiple winners in so many different competitions are going to be joining Barnet Sunday League. It's going to be a bit of a loss for Barnet Sunday League, but although they've got other obviously Highgate 2s and 3s in their
Yeah,
division, so they haven't gone completely. But the first team are obviously going to the SFL. And again, I'm sure, like you said before, there'll be other teams joining suit as well. So that first division, even if they go to 2 divisions, because I'm sure like a few of those teams will drop out, right? You know, some of the
yeah.
teams that didn't perform too well. But that first division will be strong, boy. Like that will be strong. That's the competition that we want to see. Those are the box office games that we want to see week in, week out. So yeah, this is what we wanted at the start. When we was doing the first sit down chat, this is what we want to see from the start. We want to see strong teams in there every single week, box office games, week in, week out. None of these like hiding games and stuff like that. We want to see tight games. So
Yeah.
Highgate joining the league, Baiteze potentially joining the league if that happens. Hatch Lane maybe joining the league if that happens. Other teams from North and West joining the league. That's what we want to see. And this is what we want to
It
see.
is
The
just
best.
exciting. It is. It's just exciting. And then there's also the prospect of Takers getting back together and joining the league.
Wait, don't get me started, man. I might get yo. Listen, don't
And that would
don't
just
even get Shay in here,
be
bro. Shay,
and
if
that
you're
would
watching,
just
man,
be
call me, bro.
something. And that would just be something there. And there is a very, very big possibility that actually happens. So, you know, I'm just saying the SFL next year is looking like it's a barbecue roast right now. I don't know, man. It's looking tasty. So, boy, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, listen, I digress. Actually, I did want to say one more thing. And
Yeah.
I feel bad even doing it, but I can't. I feel like I have to do it just for the sake of doing it. Highgate Albion, love the fact that they're going across, but I'm telling you now, they're 2 to go into the Premier Division and they'll win that too.
So you're just taking their place, then basically, innit? Just win this for us while we do this little thing over here. Is that what they're trying to say?
Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked if Highgate Albion are competing on both fronts.
Yeah.
They play in the BDSFL and in the SFL. Don't be shocked. Right. Remember I said it.
There you go.
So on the weekends where they're not playing in the SFL, they'll be playing for the twos in the Barnet Sunday League.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Just want to give a last shout out to all the silverware gang. So Essie Dons winning the Plumstead Cup, Under the Radar winning the SFL Cup, and then obviously, as you said, Highgate Albion doing a double this season as well, probably even more. But the main two that they've done this season, even Brook Athletic as well, shout out to them as well. They've won some silverware this season as well. So big up to them in East London. But yeah, big up to everyone winning things and big up for Sunday League in general, because it seems like it's heading in the right direction, and that's what we want to see.